Part three, Yahweh is sending the 2-for-1 kill. He's sending a 2-for-1 kill, which is Yahweh Shai and the ICBMs. They're all synonymous, and they're going to destroy Babylon, which is sweet US of A. You can believe it, receive it, or leave it. We're just the messengers. We're just telling you what's going to happen before it actually happens. It says Isaiah 66, 15 through 17. It says, "For behold, Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, will come with fire, and with his chariots like a whirlwind, to render his anger with fury, and his rebuke with the flames of fire." It says, "For by fire and by his sword will the Lord plead with all flesh, and the slain of the Lord shall be many." He tells you that there be a lot of mortals on this side that has been created in vain. That's in 2nd Ezra 9:22. 2nd Ezra 9:22 talks about those that have been created in vain. It says, "And the slain of the Lord shall be many." It says, "They that sanctify themselves," and you people that still eating lobster, still eating pork, still eating shrimp. It says, "They that sanctify themselves and purify themselves in the gardens behind one tree, in the midst of eating swine's flesh, and all the abomination and the mouse shall be consumed together, said Yahweh. For I know their works and their thoughts." And that's the thing. Yahweh knows the works, the thoughts of all mortals, the Israelites and the heathens. Revelations chapter 6, verse 14 through 17. It says, "And the heavens departed as a scroll when it is rolled together, and every mountain and island were moved out of their places." It says, "And the kings of the earth, and the great men, and the rich men, and the chief captains, and the mighty men, and every bondman and every free man hid themselves in the dens and the rocks of the mountains, and said to the mountains and rocks, Fall on us, and hide us from the face of him that sits on the throne." That's Yahweh. That's Yahweh. It says, "And from the wrath of the Lamb," that is Yahweh Shai, "for the great day of his wrath is come, and who shall be able to stand?" That's the 2-for-1 kill, man. That's the two for one kill, and the 2-for-1 deal. 2-for-1 kill, the 2-for-1 deal for the great day of Yahweh Shai's wrath, or Yahweh's wrath, in which he's going to send Yahweh Shai. And that's what's coming down the pike. That's what's coming down the pike. Babylon, right? I already gave you Babylon prophecies. And gave you like Jeremiah 50, 51, Ezekiel 38, 39, or 37. 38, 39, 37, 38. Fanners, the smith that blows the coals. The ICBM missiles. Babylon has been a golden cup in Yahweh's hand. They always, they say, where's America in the Bible? Where is America in the Bible? She's in the Bible, buddy. She's in the Bible. She's known as Mystery Babylon, Virgin Daughter of Babylon. Notice, how can all of the other superpowers be in the Bible? Egypt, Rome, Greece, Mesopotamia, Ham, Africa, Assyria, Old Babylon, Iran, Persia. How could all these old superpowers be mentioned in the Bible, in the scrolls, and not mention America, which is a superpower, which is one of the top 5 superpowers, top 3 superpowers? I mean, that would be that'd be something, right? That'd be like Yahweh has skipped a beat, missed a step, but he hasn't, because America is Mystery Babylon. Isaiah 14, it says, "Thou shalt take up this proverb against the king of Babylon." Who is the king of Babylon? That is Esau, Edom. I mean, a spade is a spade, man. Let's just call a spade a spade. It is what it is. It was what it was. It is what it is. You can believe it, receive it, or leave it. It says, "Thou shalt take up this proverb against the king of Babylon and say, how has the oppressor seized the golden city?" The golden city seized. Yahweh has broken the staff of the wicked and the scepter of the rulers, the wicked rulers. It says, "He who smote the people with a wrath and continual stroke, he that ruled the other heathens and the Israelites, the nations, in anger, is persecuted, and none hindereth. The whole earth is at rest." See, now this prophecy is going into after the ICBMs hit and Yahweh Shai destroys the system. And this is how it's going to be afterwards. This is how it's going to be afterwards. After the ICBMs hit, and after Yahweh Shai and the angels and some of the elect get done, it says, "The whole earth is at rest and is quiet. They break forth into singing." It says, "Yeah, the fir trees rejoice at thee, and the cedars of Lebanon, saying, since thou art laid down, no feller is come up against us. Hell from beneath," which is the earth, Sheol, is moved. The grave, hell, the grave, is moved for thee to meet thee at thy coming. It stirreth up the dead for thee, even all the chief ones of the earth. It has raised up from the thrones all the kings of the nations. It says, "And they shall speak and say unto thee, art thou also become weak as we? Art thou become like unto us?" It says, "Thy pompous, thy pomp, thy pride." We know Esau, he loves his pride. Edom, Esau, pride. Who is Edom? Who is Esau? The so-called Caucasian man, woman, and child. They are the historical, spiritual, biblical Edomites. Esau. I'll say it again because Yahweh wants me to bring it out again through the Spirit. All of this through the Spirit. Who is the so-called Edomites? Esau, Edom, Amalek, Mount Seir, Idumean. They are the so-called Caucasian man, woman, and child. They are the Edomites. It was what it was. It is what it is. A spade is a spade, man. It is what it is. And they are very They're very prideful. It says, "Thy pompous is brought down to the grave." You know, what is the, well, both of the, I find it funny how Yahweh did it, because he gave both of these nations a prideful, I say this too in these ministries. He gave both of the nations a prideful animal. You know, when you look at the lion, and you look at that big, beautiful feline, that big, beautiful cat, specifically the male, when you look at him, he's a very proud prideful animal. Like when you see him walking on the savannah with the pride, with his women, with his children, his cubs, and he's walking the savannah and he roars with that big mane and the big paws and the claws and the lion. A very prideful animal, very proud animal. They walk with that strut and that fierceness. And that represents us, the Judeans, you Negroes, and the rest of you tribes, the Israelites. And then Yahweh did it. He's such a master creator, an artiste. He's such an artiste, a creator. He gave the Edomites the eagle. And that eagle is such a proudful bird, fowl. When you see the eagle in the air soaring in that wind, the beautiful wings, the wingspan and the claws, the tassels, and the beak and the eyes, flies high and it can see far, and it's just a prideful, arrogant animal. The same thing with the lion, the claws, the strength, the roar. Prideful, arrogant animal. And it's funny how Yahweh did that. He put both of these animals to represent both of these nations. And both of these nations have had an ancient beef. And the ancient beef is still going strong. You want to talk about a movie director? You want to talk about a movie director? You want to talk about cinema? You want to talk about cinema? You want to talk about movies? You want to talk about a great movie director? You can't get no better than Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. He is the greatest artiste, creator, movie director. But I carry off. Let's carry back on. It says, thy pompous is brought down to the grave. It says, in thy noise of thy vows, the worm is spread under thee, and the worms covered thee. It says, how art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How art thou cut down to the ground, which did weaken the nations? Now, you Bible casuals and Christians, and you think this is actually talking about the spiritual angel, the left-hand angel, Hasatan. And really it's not. It's talking about a physical counterpart within the earth that has the attributes of Hasatan, if you will. It says, for thou hast said in thy heart, mind, I will ascend into heaven. Like that eagle, how that eagle ascends into the heaven. The eagle. This is why in Obadiah, thy set thy nest amongst the stars. The eagle. Notice the eagle is in every damn thing when it comes to these Edomites, Caucasians. When you think about Rome, the eagle. When you think about Greece, the eagle. When you think about Idumea, Mount Seir, the eagle. And when you bring it all the way back forward to America, what do you have? The eagle. Because they are the Edomites. Everything is spiritual. And we are the Israelites. And you don't get it twisted. The lion, that roaring, conquering lion, he is going to return to the throne. The lion is going to return to the throne, man. Don't get it twisted. You can't keep the lion down. That's why he has your heel, Esau. Jacob grabs Esau's heel. 2nd Esdras 6:9. What is that? 2nd Esdras 6:9. 2nd Esdras 6:9. For Esau is the end of the world. That's what you see right now. You see the end of the eagle and all of his eagle ways. It says, in Jacob, the lion is the beginning of it that follow. And soon you're going to see the lion ways. The eagle and the lion and the eagle. Esau and Jacob. Jacob and Esau. And that's what's happening. And that's what's going down. Prophecy. It says, for thou hast said in thy mind, I will ascend into heaven. like that eagle, will exalt my throne above the stars of God. I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north. It says, I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. Like that eagle, I will be like the Most High. Yet thou shalt be brought down to hell, to the sides of the pit. It says, they that see thee shall narrowly look upon thee and consider thee, saying, is this the man? Ding, 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 ding. How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How art thou cut down to the ground, which did weaken the nations, the other heathens, and the Israelites? They that see thee shall narrowly look upon thee and consider thee, saying, is this the man that made the earth to tremble, that did shake the kingdoms? Yeah, Alexander the Great, wicked. Herod the Great, wicked. Nero, wicked. Pontius Pilate, wicked. All of these wicked Edomites, kings that had their time that Yahweh has allowed. Greece, Rome, Idumea, and now all the way now to America, and how they still go around and put sanctions on everybody and tax everybody and interfere in everybody else's business. And, you know, you see, dub themselves as the world police. It's all biblical prophecy, man. It's all biblical prophecy. Everything fits what it fits. It says, they that see thee shall nearly look upon thee and consider thee, saying, is this the man that made the earth to tremble, that did shake kingdoms, that made the world as a wilderness, chopping down all the trees? You don't give the earth no land Sabbaths. You're supposed to give the earth a rest. She is a living, breathing entity. You know, they go around raping, robbing, pillaging. The Bible is identifying every nation on the earth. The Bible is identifying every nation on earth. It says that man or that made the world as a wilderness, just to go around destroying shit, man. Damn cancer. Truly a damn cancer. And even Edomites know this now, because you have a whole bunch of Edomites that came out and that have called out these Edomites, have called out their race, their people, their nation. Even Esau is tired of Esau. It says, that made the world as a wilderness and destroyed the cities thereof, that opened not the houses of the prisoners. All the kings of the nations, even all of them, lie in glory, everyone in his own house. But thou art cast out of thy grave like an abominable branch, and as the raiment of those that are dead. It says, thrust through with a sword, that go down to the stones of the pit, as a carcass trodden under feet. It says, thou shalt not be joined with them in burial, because thou hast destroyed thy land and slain thy people, the seed of evildoers, the Edomites, Alexander the Great, Herod the Great, Pontius Pilate, Nero, First Maccabees, Second Maccabees talks about the Alexander the Great and the Edomites, the Romans and Greeks, and what they did when Yahweh allowed them to come up. All of the wickedness. It says, the seed of evildoers shall never be renowned. Prepare slaughter for his children, for thy iniquities of their fathers. I didn't put y'all in slavery. You hear the Edomites and these other nations, these heathens. We didn't put you in slavery. Prepare slaughter for the children, for the iniquities of their fathers. That's the point. You think the Israelites did that? That's the stuff that we was doing in Jerusalem and Israel. and end up going into Babylonian captivity and Assyrian captivity and all of those other captivities? No, we had to suffer for the iniquities of our fathers. So if we had to suffer for the iniquities of our fathers, what do you think is going to happen to you and to y'all? Prepare slaughter for the children for the iniquity of their fathers and their mothers. But the fathers, it says, because Yahweh deals with the man. It says, they that do not rise, nor possess the land, nor fill the face of the world with cities. It says, for I will rise up against them, said Yahweh of hosts, and cut off from Babylon the name, the remnant, the son, the nephew, said Yahweh. I would also make it a possession for the bittern and pools of water. I will sweep it with the bosom of destruction, said Yahweh of hosts. It says, the Lord of hosts have sworn, saying, surely as I have thought, so shall it come to pass. And as I have purposed, so shall it stand. Ain't no getting out of Dodge, Cap. No getting out of Dodge with that, Cap. It says, this is the purpose that is purposed upon the whole earth, and this is the hand that is stretched out upon all the heathens, the nations. It says, for the Lord of hosts have purposed, and who shall discontinue it, basically. It says, and his hand is stretched out, and who shall turn it back? Isaiah 14, Babylon, the destruction. That's what I just went into and broke down into you along with the other prophecies. So this lesson, man, it has been purposeful. It has been edifying. And I hope it has exhorted you. Exhortation. You know, 2 for 1 kill, man. Yahweh Shai HaMashiach, who the people in the world call Jesus Christ, is coming back with the angels, the chariots, the UFOs, the UAPs. You know, they still can't figure out what these UFOs are, these UAPs are, these unidentified flying objects. They still can't identify them. But the prophet's been telling you what they were and what they is. You know, they don't know what they are. And people still think it's a game, man. People still think it's a game. That's the funny thing about it. You 2/3, you Israelites, y'all still think it's a game. You heathens, y'all think it's a game too. Some of y'all are atheists. You don't believe. You try to run from the facts. Try to run from the historical biblical accounts. You try to run from the secular history. That's the problem. People think stuff is a game. Think stuff is a game. Until it really hits, man. Until prophecies really start hitting. And then they're going to be running after the men of the Lord. You know, then they're going to be trying to get in touch with the men of the Lord. But it's going to be too late then. It's going to be too late. And all of you little spies, you niggas going to get judged too. Your agent provocateurs, your spies, you niggas are going to get judged. Nobody gets away scot-free. 2/3 judged. You heathens, you Gentiles judged. You just playing out your lot. You're just playing out your lot, man. And you really, and ultimately, the lot that y'all was given was a terrible lot. If you're an agent provocateur and that 2/3 lot, it's really not a good look. It's really not a good look. But nobody can prep their lot, so to speak. Nobody can manifest their own lot. Everybody was given their own lot, their own lot to fulfill, their own role to play out. their own their own journey to play out. I like the way that was said. Isaiah 14:26, it says, this is the purpose that is purpose upon the whole earth. It says, and this is the hand that is stretched out upon all the heathens. It says, for the Lord of hosts has purposed, and who shall discontinue it? It says, and his hand is stretched out, and who shall turn it back? Because nobody can stop prophecy. 2-for-1 kill. Yahweh is coming with a 2-for-1 kill. Let's grab some more prophecy. Let's grab Sirach. Sirach 18. It says Sirach 18, 1-3. It says, he that lives forever have created all things in general. That is Yahweh, the Ancient of Days, who people call God. It says, the Lord only is righteous, and there is none other but he, who governs the world with the palm of his hand, and all things obey his will. So the wicked, the righteous, the left, the right. It says, for he is the king of all, by his power dividing holy things among them from profane. So it's amazing. It's truly amazing how it goes. It's truly amazing. Let's grab some more. Sirach 1:8. Sirach 1:8. It says, there is one wise and greatly to be feared, Yahweh sitting upon his throne. And these Gentile nations, man, they know about Yahweh and Yahweh Shai. They know what he did in the days of old, in the days of ancient. They still have the receipts, the artifacts. Archaeologists still digging up things. Archaeologists still digging up things, still finding things. It's definitely something, man. It's definitely something. These prophecies are definitely something. Definitely something. Definitely something. Definitely something. Let's I'm gonna end it with Revelations. What is Revelations? The spirit of prophecy. The spirit of prophecy is the testimony of Yahweh Shai. Spirit of prophecy. Spirit of prophecy is the testimony of Yahweh Shai. And I'll end it with that, man. I'll end it with that. It says, Revelations 19:10, for the testimony of Hamashiach Yahweh Shai, a so-called black man who people call Jesus Christ. For the testimony of Hamashiach Yahweh Shai is the spirit of prophecy. Let's figure out what it means. It says what this actually means. Prophecy is Hamashiach centered. If it does not testify of Hamashiach Yahweh Shai, his role, his mission, his judgment, his redemption, his return, then it is not the spirit of prophecy. Man, so all of you pastors, you reverends, you deacons, and all of that Christianity garbage religion, it's a wrap. It's a wrap on that, man. This is the measuring rod. That's why prophecy is testing. Like you said earlier, the prophets, the doctrine, the believers, and the elect. It says, try the spirits, whether they are of Yahweh. 1 John 4:1, it says, Yahweh Shai is the test. The commandments plus the prophets point to him. And this locks in with these precepts, Luke 24:27-44, John 5:39, Isaiah 53, it says Deuteronomy 18:18. It says all true prophecy points forward to him or confirms his authority. It says why the world fails the test. We know why the world fails the test. Because the damn the damn liars, man. The damn liars, the deceivers. With all of this garbage that's in the world, these ideologies, these philosophies, these doctrines, which was all pushed by yours truly. It says why the world fails the test. The world accepts signs, wonders, visions, mythicism, but rejects judgment, repentance, covenant order, Yashra Allah's restoration under Yahweh Shai. It says that's why they receive not the love of the truth. 2 Thessalonians 2:10. It says bottom line, prophecy is not about dates. Prophecy is not about hype. Prophecy is about having the testimony of him, Yahweh Shai, that comes in the volume of the book. Pump up the volume, pump up the volume, pump up the volume. And as a matter of fact, I couldn't even get him out, so I gotta go, I gotta smartphone him up. Pump up the volume. I ain't no joke. I used to let the mic smoke. What is his name, bro? I know that's the same MC. Pump up the volume. Pump up the volume. I'm mad that I gotta look his name up because I should have known his name. Pump up the volume. What is his name, man? Rakim. Eric B and Rakim, bro. Why couldn't I remember Rakim? I knew it was on the. I had his whole face. Eric B and Rakim, man. And that's the pump up the volume. Yahweh Shai comes in the volume of the book. Got to eat the whole roll. Yahweh is sending the 2-for-1 kill. He's coming to eradicate Babylon with the chariots of Israel, the angels, Yahweh Shai, and World War III, the Third World War, the ICBMs. That's all in Prophet Joel chapter 3. With that, I'm going to say Kahalam La Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai Bahashim Rakak Chadash Barakata Yahweh. This is all ancient Paleo Hebrew. Barakata Yahweh, giving glory and honor and praise to Yahweh, and cursing Babylon. Barakata Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai Bahashim Rakak Chadash, and Abad Babal. Abad Babal. Abad Babal. Abad Babal. Abad Babal. The sooner you Israelites go home, the sooner the sooner this chapter ends, man. The sooner this chapter ends. The sooner we get up out of here, the sooner this chapter ends. Because the book is not finished. You still got the restoration of Israel and Judah, glorified bodies, the elect being crowned, angels being judged, people being judged, the nations, the heathens going into captivity, the 1,000-year millennium. It's still a lot more to this movie. It's still a lot more to this movie, man. It's a lot more to this movie, man. Pump up the volume, pump up the volume. It comes in the volume of the book. Eat the whole roll. Shalom.